Hey everyone, this is Nathaniel Kidd with you from Whatcom Love Inc. And we've just been crunching some numbers for March. And I wanted to share a little bit with you about what we've discovered about how the COVID-19 needs have been affecting our community as we see it reflected through our network of churches and services. So this is a companion video to the blog post and video that we posted last week, the end of March, on the 5 big needs that we've seen in our community and what you can do about them. But this goes into a little bit more detail, and we've got some nice charts to show you. So if you're a chart person, definitely stay tuned. If you're more of the kind of like dialogical description person, you might want to check out that other video. And both of those have very similar information. So I'm going to share my screen with you here. This is a picture, as we see it through chart, of how the COVID-19 situation has affected the needs that we're feeling in the Whatcom Loving call center. You'll note that the need profile has actually not changed significantly, with the exception of there was a huge spike right at the beginning in needs for food and household and other essential items. That has since gone down because of the community helpers hotline. They've got their call center operating, and that's great. It takes a lot of the bandwidth off, but it also unfortunately then means you'll notice the much more dramatic thing is that there's really nothing we can do about most of these needs, that there just aren't services available currently that we can refer people to. In a typical month, you'll see we're able to meet about 40% of the needs that are called in immediately by connecting people to services. And then there's an additional, 60% of the need that we're almost always able to offer something because our call center staff is really resourceful and able to do some nice troubleshooting. It's able to say, hey, this program isn't available, but hey, we can help you with this. And then maybe you can shift some of that money over. Really a lot of great creative thinking happens. There's only a couple of needs in a given month that will just not be able to do anything for somebody besides be a friendly listening ear. So from that situation, we've gone to being able to meet only about 1 in 3 needs of people that come in, and only because we had this people were connecting people with food for a while before the community helpers line kicked in. And now that's gone down quite substantially, and there's really nothing that we can do besides listen to people, because every one of these agencies is shut down that we would typically refer to. Programs aren't running. People aren't doing their connection thing. Now, so what can we do about this? Well, for one thing, the state does classify as essential businesses things that are working to provide basic social services and necessities of life for people who are in situations of vulnerability and need. So if you're running one of these programs, I would urge and encourage you to think about reopening that. If your church is housing one, this is, make the adjustments that you need for appropriate safe social distancing. Whatever recommendations are in place when you watch this, definitely follow those. But these are essential services, and right now there's nothing available. And it's a time to enter into a cycle of rebuilding, reopening, because these needs are not getting met. It's creating, we're feeling it through our call center, a sort of anxiety on the part of call center staff and volunteers, and which is again then reflective of the people who just simply aren't getting what they need out in the community. The second thing is you could think about actually starting something new. This is a great time to begin an outreach and look at these areas of need that exist. Now, is there a way that you can organize within your church or faith community a way of engaging people with these needs? I mean, something like laundry, there used to be a laundry voucher program that we had here. What if a church that had some extra space wanted to create a sort of pay what you will laundry center and use that as a point of relational engagement with people that came in? That could be a fantastic ministry. There's nothing for car repair. Do you know network of you have some mechanics in your congregation that might be willing to work as on a like very part-time basis with a few cases. It's not a huge number of people that are calling and looking for this, but there are a few. And I know there are programs like this that have shut down because the demand gets too high. We can actually throttle some of that through Love Inc. if you only receive referrals from us. That's part of the work that we do as a call center. I was just telling our call center director, Heidi, this morning, in trying to encourage her in this, it's great if you can connect a person in need with a resource in the community. That's a win. We definitely want that. That's great. An even better win is if you can hear a need from somebody in the community, we can pray about it, we can interpret it, and we can give that need, we can share that need with the broader church, and we can say, what can the church do to help meet the needs of people in our community? And that as a result of this process, something is birthed where people's needs are being met through this love that we express to them in the name of Christ. So in terms of volunteering more directly with Love Inc., we've got this great volunteer hub that we really hope that people will jump in on. You can go to whatcomloveinc.org. There's a big flashing red button right in the middle of our homepage. You can click there. It will take you here. There are lots of ways to get here. Not hard to find. And we are cataloging opportunities that we know about that we can promote people and plug people in to ways of responding to needs in our community. One of the primary needs is through our call center, where our volumes have increased dramatically, probably 4 or 5 times what they are normally. So Heidi is in need of people that can take some of that burden. We're looking for people who'd be willing to become a phone friend with people that are in isolation, just looking for folks that can check in on them, and doing some help with some basic callbacks. That's another need. Then on this other side of things, we're really looking for people. It's kind of like a think tank operation that we've got going here. So we think about these different needs that exist in the community. Nobody knows how to answer, how to respond to them. We do kind of like a spotty job in the best of times responding to some of the needs in our community, and now everything is sort of shut down. How do we do it in this circumstance? Nobody has answers. So what we need to do is work together to learn from one another, share ideas, generate some possibilities, and then connect possibilities with people who are motivated to help, who are motivated to invest that time and energy. We can do that. Signing up for our system is a great way. You start with a volunteer orientation where we get to know one another, hear what the Lord's working in your heart, and start to build those connections. And we're also starting this program of doing learning circles where we sit and we listen to and we learn from one another what we're trying in terms of serving and helping in our community. And then there are sort of back office things you can do as well in terms of helping with our communications, is join our COVID-19 communications team, join our COVID-19 research team. So there's things that you can do in terms of working with us directly in the office to be a part of how the church responds to COVID-19 in our community. And then there's, again, more important than that is being engaged in your local church, your local faith community, and generating these kinds of conversations on that local scale, and making sure then that the resources that you're cultivating there are connected with Love Inc. We need to have clear lines of communication so that we can do this. Like, none of us can do this alone. It's the need is indeed, it's overwhelming. It's too big for any one of us, but it's not too big for God. God has all of this in his hand. He has saved us through the precious blood of our Lord Jesus Christ, and his grace is indeed sufficient for us. And because of that sufficiency for us, we can then extend that grace and that sufficiency to those around us. And we find, as we give away what we have been given, that the Lord creates this sort of satisfaction and this deep sense of sustainability and sustenance in our hearts by the work that we do in reaching out. So ironically, we become less overwhelmed when we reach out and when we are engaged than when we kind of contract into ourselves as a result of this big crisis situation and we are not engaged. So I'd encourage you, please, in whatever way that makes sense to you, be engaged in our community, be engaged in your church, help us out with Love Inc. And we look forward to seeing how the Lord works through this season. May God bless you and have a wonderful day.